we started Autotrader 400 weekend the same way we ended Autotrader 400 weekend, and that was with Tyler Reddick winning the Autotrader 400. And the way I mean by we started and ended the same way is, well, we still got the same winner, and Tyler Reddick goes back-to-back to start the Cup points paying portion of the season. And what a race it was today in the Autotrader 400. Everybody was just going from the get-go, and we saw just thrilling action throughout today's Cup race. And unlike Daytona last weekend, where we saw a lot of fuel saving, especially in that third portion of the race, we really didn't get a whole lot of that today. There was fuel saving a little bit later in the race, but it didn't last for very long. But the drivers were going for it for the whole time in this race, and it really made for a really compelling race from pretty much lap 1 to the end of the race at lap 265, I want to say, since it went into NASCAR overtime there. But Tyler Reddick wins the Autotrader 400, and man, it was quite a interesting weather day today, because the past 2 days have been in the 60s. Today, it is currently, I want to say it's probably maybe around freezing right now with this wind chill that we have going on, and you probably can hear it in this video, but that definitely had effect today on the Cup drivers, because the wind is coming this way and slows them down a little bit on this front stretch, but that can really upset the balance on a lot of these cars with the wind today, because it has been pretty consistent. And actually, my tripod earlier almost fell over because of how strong the wind was just a few minutes ago. And you can probably hear right now it's moving a lot. I'm having to crunch up papers right here because the wind is so strong here. But, you know, Tyler Reddick today becomes the first driver since 2009 in which he wins the first 2 points-paying races of the season since Matt Kenseth did it in 2009. And Tyler Reddick, he's just been there from the get-go for this season. He won the 500. He was up front most of this race today. He was on the pole, as I mentioned earlier, and he was just getting the job done today, and he won it back-to-back. And, hey, Michael Jordan was here too, and it's kind of funny because it kind of felt like it was like a similar type of deal from the 500 that we got last week. You know, Wallace, heartbreak. Carson Hocevar, heartbreak as well. He was leading a little bit, or getting close to the lead at the end of the Autotrader 400 today. But those two drivers not able to get the job done. Guy that did get the job done, Tyler Reddick. And today we saw 57 lead changes in the Autotrader 400. That is now the most in Echo Park Speedway history, with 57 lead changes. The previous record was the spring race last year with 56. So just one more set the record. But if we look overall on the season, we have 125 lead changes ever. And that's 125 lead changes since the Daytona 500. Doesn't count the Clash. That's the most ever to start a NASCAR Cup Series season. So a lot of history being made here to start the 2026 season so far. Tyler Reddick just going out and pretty much just won back the first two races. We'll see if Reddick can do it again. He won at Circuit of the Americas a couple of years ago. So, hey, maybe Reddick can get the job done once again at Circuit of the Americas and go for 3 in a row. And the last time we saw a driver go 3 in a row was Christopher Bell, in which he started, unlike Reddick, he started his winning streak here at Echo Park Speedway. We'll see if Reddick can continue this 3-race win streak. But I mentioned it right there, Circuit of the Americas. That's where NASCAR is headed to next weekend. They're going to have the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and the NASCAR Cup Series out there at Circuit of the Americas. And the Truck Series is going to St. Petersburg for the first time ever in NASCAR history. They're going to be sharing that weekend with IndyCar next weekend as IndyCar also kicks off their season. Doug Turnbull will be in the Circuit of the Americas next week, and he'll bring you coverage right here on the 5 to Go podcast, Facebook, and YouTube page. But an incredible day here in the in the Autotrader 400 here from Echo Park Speedway. I got to go back in the media center because this actually might be the coldest NASCAR weekend I've ever been to. Or actually, I shouldn't say weekend, but Cup race I've been to. Because this wind chill is just brutal right now. But we'll catch you guys on the other side. A new episode of the 5 to Go podcast should be coming out a little bit later in the week due to scheduling conflicts. So we'll have an episode out before Circuit of the Americas weekend. So check us out, 5 to Go Podcast YouTube, 5 to Go Podcast Facebook, and then, of course, for new episodes of the 5 to Go Podcast, check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. For Devin Kupka, I'm signing out here from Echo Park Speedway.